Hello, kiddies. Welcome to Gags from the Crypt.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to another episode of Dads from the Crypt. This is episode 196. My name is Jason. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm joined by Jody.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm joined by Mondo.
Hello.
Hi. And it's beginning of July. So you know what that means? It's Hot Jaws Summer. We are going to be reviewing all four of the wonderful Jaws films. I'm sure they're all just as good as the first one, right?
Yes. This quality has to be maintained for all these movies. I'm excited.
Right, at least that's what I'm telling you.
These are all new to me,
the first one. I'm really pumping Jody up to keep his expectations high just to see how far they can drop. Because I've seen them all. Jody hasn't. Mondo, have you seen the sequels?
I have seen the second one, and that's it.
Okay, well, we are in for
We've
a
got
fun
a journey that we get to go
and to be fair, the second one, if I remember correctly, wasn't horrible.
No, I have good things to say about the second one.
Yeah, it had its moments. I haven't watched it in years, and it started coming on after I watched this one on Peacock. I just didn't want to watch it yet because I want to wait. I want it fresh in my memory. Well, I'm not going to be here when we do that one, so maybe I will watch it. But
yeah.
I'm actually interested to see the later ones. I've heard they're hot garbage, and sometimes like hot garbage with an edible is not always the worst thing in the world.
Hey, we have a love for trash, and so when you tell me we're going to be watching some trashy movies, I'm like, okay, this is kind of my stuff.
Yeah, but Jody, I think you and I are into fun trash, like Hot Spring Shark Attack, which we should do to cap everything else off.
That was
that's fun trash.
We are Hot Jaws Summer doesn't end at the end of July. We're gonna do a couple extra shark movies because I want an excuse to do Deep Blue Sea. One of my all-time favorites.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
we talked about this on a previous podcast. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, so just an excuse to get Mondo to watch that. The other one you mentioned, and we might throw in a couple other fun ones to round out our summer. Yeah, the third one is actually on the campy level, pretty fun. It's the fourth one, really.
Okay, so I'm excited then because what is third one? The Revenge or Jaws of Revenge?
No, third one's the one in SeaWorld.
The 3D.
The fourth one is Jaws of Revenge, right? The last one.
Yeah, that's where that's where it gets real.
Okay,
bad.
so I remember the SeaWorld one from a kid. When I was a kid, I don't remember the whole movie. I remember when Jaws is trying to break into the when you go into those the tube with all
don't
the.
Spoil it for Jody.
Yeah, I'm just saying all I remember, and I remember as a kid that fucking terrified me because I was like, oh my god, could that actually happen?
Right? Because Well, okay, since we're going into it, actually, first before we do that, Mondo, why don't you tell us about our sponsor?
Yes, we are teaming up with Fright Rags for an exciting 6-month collaboration where we'll be deep diving into movie reviews, each one being linked to a brand new Fright Rags apparel design, which you can get right now at frightrags.com. They just dropped, by the time you listen to this past week, they just dropped their Jaws collection. So definitely check it out. And again, I do like to say that Fright Rags, we don't just pair with them because, hey, we like to be able to give our listeners something. We pair with them because it's actually a brand that we really do appreciate and enjoy. Like I have so much stuff from Fright Rags, it's not even funny. Right now too, they just came out with the Godzilla polo shirts. I'm going to buy one because I want to be able to wear a cool Godzilla polo to work. But we're going to be giving away a $15 digital gift card to Fright Rags to one lucky paid Patreon member each month. Your chance to win increases with your membership level. So if you're at $1, you get one raffle, $3, you get 3. And if you're in our illustrious $5 tier, you get 5 entries. And then if you want more entries, leave us an Apple Podcast review for bonus 5 entries. And then just shoot us an email with a screenshot that you left us a review. I'd like for it to be 5 stars, but you know what? If you don't like us and you shit on us too, hey man, you did it. And we don't necessarily appreciate it. But sorry.
I double checked. We haven't gotten a review in almost a year, so either people.
What the fuck, people? What the fuck? Like seriously? Like just fucking a 1-word review that says cool. Come on, man. Like I don't care. Help us out here.
Find
But if you do a review, you get 5 more entries. Just screenshot it and send it to dadsfromthecrypt@gmail.com, which is a good time to mention too. If you ever want us to talk about something specific on the show, review something specific, send it there as well. And any questions you have. Yeah, anything you guys want us to talk about. If you want me to get fucking buzzed and rant about something, I'll fucking do it. So just dadsfromthecrypt@gmail.com. I mean, I did that for free anyways, but if there's something specific you want us to get demonetized for, let me know. And I'll have at it.
And that's not to say we're
What's
actually
happening in
monetized
Texas right now.
anything.
No, I'm just kidding. So just send us one big beautiful email and we'll go to town.
Dodging that one.
All right. So yeah, back to
almost like you're dodging a draft. That's fine. We can talk about that later too.
Off to the races. So yeah, Jaws.
Loki.
Jaws, classic movie. Every podcast in the world is talking about it, but this is a movie that lives in my bones. It's easily, I don't know, any day that it could easily be my favorite movie of all time. It's always like at least in the top 3, I would say. It's a movie. I watched all 4 movies probably like continuously as a kid. So like my memories of them as a kid, they were all scary. Because everything with a shark is scary when you're a kid. But yeah, this is one I just grew up watching over and over and over again, and to the point where I wasn't scared to be in the pool, but if I couldn't see, anytime I'm in a body of ocean where I can't see the bottom, like I can't, like all I can see is like my legs and I can't see anything else, it freaks me out.
Let's just be honest. The ocean is terrifying. It's a very scary thing.
Right. So yeah, this is just a movie that, I have Jaws figures. I've had, the ride. If you guys ever went to Universal Orlando, they had that Jaws ride. My parents took me on that. Freaked me the hell out as a kid.
Scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
And as a kid, I was probably like in high school or something. Like it's still like
we used to live. When I was real young, I lived by Virginia Beach, so we'd go there, during the summertime, like every other weekend or something. Granted, there's only like a few of us kids in the neighborhood in our little small cul-de-sac, little small circle we lived in. So at least, if not every other week, once a month, someone wanted to go and take all the kids, and we'd all go there. I still remember us watching Jaws, and then that weekend having a lot of anxiety about going to the beach that weekend and not wanting to get in the fucking water as a kid.
See, I don't remember having a ton of anxiety as a kid going to the beach, but as a parent now I'm aware of like everything that could be in the water. Every time they're out there, I'm like, I don't know, up to their knees. That's 6 inches of water. I'm kind of worried about this.
It's crazy to me being a parent because like there's stuff I did as a kid that I would never let my child do in a million years.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing, and I don't mean anything crazy or like R-rated or anything bad, but even as a little kid, like back in the day, or we grew up in a small town, so we'd play till it was dark outside. Like you went home when it was dark. Nowadays, like be kind of terrified. Let my kid out in Las Vegas till it's dark. Oh, granted, they're 23, they can do what the fuck they want now, but you know what I mean. But even like you said, like I was never, aside from that little spell I had with Jaws, I wasn't afraid of going to the beach or anything like that. But I was way more worried the first time I took my kid to the beach than I was ever worried about my own safety. So it's the fun parts about being a parent. The fun perks is constant fear.
And this is also one of those movies that like it gets shown a lot, especially during the summer. And if you've never seen it on the big screen, highly recommend. It is fantastic. It holds up really well. I've seen it multiple times. So my favorite was at the Hollywood Bowl. They did it with a live orchestra for the score, and that was it's just again just reels you in more. But it's even cooler watching it in a crowd of like 10,000 people, just to see the reactions. So like, there's the scene where Hooper's in the cage and it gets all quiet, and he just kind of like doesn't know where the shark is. And the shark comes up behind him. I have a video of it. Actually, I'll find it. Maybe I'll post it. But you can hear 10,000 people like jump out of their seats when the shark like comes out of nowhere from behind. It is so freaking cool to hear an audience react like that.
I don't think they've done it in a couple years, but they used to do. There's a place called I'm double checking. They didn't do it this year because they're assholes. But the Cosmopolitan used to do at the pool. You go on a float and you'd watch Jaws.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will be on a float for that long, but it sounds like a cool idea.
You don't have to be in the float the whole time. There's like little bars you can swim up to and stuff. I never did it, unfortunately. Yeah. I was just checking to see if they did it this year, but they didn't do it this year. They did Top Gun, Shrek, Lilo and Stitch, Harry Potter, The Goonies. That'd be cool. But I just kind of want to float and watch Jaws. Like, how do they not do Jaws? Right? They're doing Twilight and Mean Girls, but not Jaws. Okay, whatever.
All right. Well, again, obviously, Jaws is celebrating its 50th year. Came out on June 20th, 1975. Jody, give us your plot synopsis.
All right. So this is a very well-known movie, but I'm going to try to speed through the plot synopsis just a little bit. But we start off with this great opening scene where a young woman is going for a night swim after being with a guy she met, and something grabs a hold of her under the water and starts moving her around, jerking her back and forth across the surface of the water. And the next day they find the remains, which are not very much. There's not a whole lot. It fits in a very small box. And so they very quickly have decided that this is a shark attack. The coroner says a shark attack. The new sheriff in town, Sheriff Brody, which is, if you're watching on YouTube, I made a lame pun, and my name on here is Chief Jody, or Chief.
That's close.
Jody,
I like it.
Chief.
I like it.
Anyway, so they all agree it's a shark. And so they're like, okay, we need to put up some signs, block this beach, keep the people off of it. But the mayor catches wind of their plans and is like, is it really a shark? I mean, we are an island town and we really rely on this summer. And if we start saying there's a shark, people aren't going to come and spend money. So capitalism wins and they keep the beach open. But not too long after that, a little boy is killed in front of a huge crowd at a busy beach day. And so everyone sees this happen. Everyone knows that this is a shark now. But the mayor still doesn't want to shut down the beach. There's a reward put out by the boy's mom. We meet Captain Quint, who is a experienced seaman. That's a bad word. Sailor. I really wasn't meaning it till it came out, and then
that'll forever be a funny title.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, he's experienced. He has dealt with sharks before, and he says he'll do it, but for $10,000. And so a lot of local fishermen and people from the area show up. They all start hunting it. They manage to catch a little tiger shark, but they have their suspicions. I haven't mentioned yet, but a young marine biologist, an oceanographer named Hooper comes and he agrees that this doesn't seem like the right shark. So later he and Brody sneak back and they cut open the shark's belly. No remains in there. The shark is definitely still out. So they go do a kind of look around in a boat and find a boat owned by a local fisherman, and they go down, Hooper goes down to inspect the boat, and he sees where a hole has been knocked in it. He sees a giant shark tooth in that hole, and he sees a severed head floating up out of that hole, and he drops the shark tooth after the surprise. That's another great little jump moment. But the 4th of July weekend is coming up. The shark has definitely been killing lots of people. He definitely is still out there, but the mayor still wants to keep the beaches open because it's 4th of July weekend. It's one of their big tourist weekends. And so while the beaches are packed, the shark comes back again and manages to kill a boater, and almost kills Brody's own son. And so then finally Brody convinces the mayor that it's time to hire Quint and let's get this thing taken care of. So they start off. I love once we get on the boat, like it goes from the first half of the movie feels like a horror movie and the attacks that happen. By the second half, while there's got some great jumps, it feels like an adventure movie. Like this is Steven Spielberg in his Spielbergiest. That's not a word. But yes, Spielbergian. Thank you. But the three guys on the boat. I mean, they are out on this adventure. You got one guy, Sheriff Brody, who's kind of scared of the water. You've got the nerd. You've got the grizzled tough guy, and a lot of time is spent just hanging out with them as they share stories. And Quint tells about being on the USS Indianapolis, a real ship. It was really sunk during World War II, where a whole bunch of men went into the water. I think 1,100 something men went into the water, and only 316 came out. They weren't all eaten by sharks in real life, but some were. Some definitely were. It's a crazy story. Last Podcast on the Left did a series on it a few months back. Really interesting, worth looking at. So they're looking for this shark, and the shark returns. He starts ramming the boat's hull, and the men work through the night repairing the engine, getting things up and running again. They manage to shoot a harpoon into the shark with a barrel of air attached to it, so they can keep up with where he is and keep him from being able to dive. But he's very big, and so he continues to pull the barrels underneath. But they keep on doing more and more of this. The barrels stay attached, and they'd start going towards shore, but Quint keeps pushing the engine. He's pushing it, knowing it's about to fail. We'll probably talk about that one in a minute. As the boat takes on water, it's so slowly starting to sink. Hooper gets into the shark cage and takes a spear that has strychnine on it so that they can poison the shark. But as soon as he gets down there, the shark starts banging into the cage, and he drops the spear, sinks down to the ocean bottom, and the shark continues attacking the cage. But Hooper manages to get out through the bottom and hide down at the ocean floor. At that point, the shark leaps onto the boats and tilts it up so that Quint slowly slides down into the shark's mouth and is eaten. And Brody throws a scuba tank into the shark's mouth. And when the shark resurfaces, he shoots it, blows up the shark in a beautiful shower of fish pieces. And then Hooper comes back on board, having survived. The end.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Mondo, start us off. What do you think?
It's pretty good. I love Jaws. This is a movie that I can rewatch over and over again. I never get tired of it. In fact, I watched it about a week ago before we said we're going to do the episode. We push the episode back, so I watched it again just before this because by no means am I upset about watching this movie again because it's that freaking good. All the performances are just spot on, and it's for all the credit Spielberg gets, one thing he should get credit for is how he directed these actors and how they come off as very just believable performers. I really like too I can't remember her name who plays Mrs. Brody.
Oh, Lorraine something.
Yeah,
Lorraine
I looked
Gray.
her up earlier. I think it's crazy that she was in every Jaws movie but the third one. Yeah, she was in every Jaws movie but the third one. But I think the performances are very organic. Like they feel like people you could meet in everyday life. To the skeezy mayor, always trying to do what's the politician thing of this. Like his thing is kind of weird too because he's trying to be the politician, but like when shit goes south, he's very remorseful, I guess, which you don't expect, which is probably the most unrealistic aspect of this. The other unreal, and also the sheriff apologizing for making a mistake, which is also pretty unrealistic in real life.
There's a couple things like because I haven't read the whole book, but I've read a lot of stuff about differences and stuff.
I read the book back in high school, but I don't remember.
I've never read it.
Yeah, so in the book, the mayor actually owes a ton of money to the mob, or there's a bunch of mob connections with the town.
Shit.
So that's part of his motivation for wanting to keep the beach open, so he can have the money. I mean, it's probably for the best they took it out, but just add another kind of layer of why.
I mean, I could see the book.
After living through 2020, I fully believe that politicians will do whatever they can to make money, regardless of any other situation. So it's still very realistic.
Well, I mean, so we're gonna get political, but even during the pandemic, right? We had in Nevada and in Vegas, a very our governor was saying no live music, but he allowed live music at the one place he liked to go eat at because he claimed it was ambient music. So it's again, politicians will obviously do some things in their best interests. And in this situation, and this is not to give him a pass, the mentality is very capitalist, right? Very capitalist in that I don't want to shut the beach down because it's going to cost everyone, all these businesses, their livelihood, but also I also don't want to pay for someone to come and take care of this problem either.
Yeah.
Until shit hits the fan, which is a very, very, and not just in the United States, that's kind of what you see everywhere, where usually people don't want to pay money until they have to. Like in my line of work in surveillance, people don't want to spend money on cameras till they get sued. That's just the reality of what it is. But I just want to, my favorite scene in this whole movie is probably one of the most non-horror scenes ever. It's just when they're down in the hole, just getting drunk and showing off their scars and shooting the shit. It just feels like such an organic little pocket in this movie that really makes you it really makes you care for all the characters. They do such a good job of making you care about these characters and wanting to see them succeed in their mission and wanting to see them, put an end to the threat out there. That kind of sets the stage for everything that happens after that. And from watching this movie, shit's gonna hit the fan. I kind of just wish like the rest of the movie was them shooting the shit for the next hour. I just want to see them hanging out and telling war stories, and also, being one of Spielberg's earlier films, you could just tell the guy has an eye for cinema, and the shots he gets, I forgot the exact shot, but it's towards the front of the boat where they just span the camera up and you can see the vastness of the ocean. And it kind of world building and gives you like everything's kind of confined to this ship, but that kind of gives you the view to realize the gravity of what they're dealing with and the whole world out there. If anyone's listening to this right now and has not seen Jaws, for the love of God, like fucking press pause and go watch Jaws. Watch it with your kids. It's a great horror movie for kids, I think.
Yeah, it's a good gateway.
Yeah, and horror can even be debatable on this. Some people say it's a thriller, it's whatever. Anytime you have a shark tearing people apart, I'm gonna say it's horror.
that first scene especially, that is a straight up stalking horror, because you get so much shark POV. I mean, it's a slasher movie, but with a shark.
Well, and they do such a good job of building up to the reveal of the shark. Like it's a shark, but then when they finally show it, and God, the fucking effects are great.
I mean, it's one of those things like taking. Yeah, I mean, if you took like a scene or a clip like out of context, the shark doesn't look. It looks pretty fake, but because the movie has done all the legwork to build it up, and because it's shot so selectively, you don't care. Your brain is just like, there's this thing. It's huge. It's dangerous. It's gonna fuck you up, and you don't care. And it's just he shoots around it so well. And there's a lot of like stories about like how the shark wasn't working, so he couldn't shoot as much as he wanted to. So like he went to the Hitchcock school of things, is like let the mind of the viewer kind of take over. And we don't know exactly how much was really meant to be shown, but obviously he did want to show more, and then it kind of worked to his favor.
I think so too.
And sorry, keep going.
No, I'm good. That's organic. I was hoping you just keep going. That was like an organic segue to just.
I didn't want to steal your thunder. All right, Jody, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, no, this is, like I said, I watched it as a kid. I read the book. I actually read a bunch of Peter Benchley's other books as a teenager, just because I liked this world enough. He has another one called Beast about like a giant squid. It's good stuff.
They did a TV movie on that one too.
I was going to say, I think they made a TV movie of that one.
I mean, when I saw it in the 90s.
But it's just Spielberg does such a good job of making realistic, believable people that you care about. Like the way that people talk, even in his movies, feels very natural. Like I always think of like the dinner table scene in E.T. where they're like the kids are fighting and yell penis breath at each other, and it feels like real people. And these characters feel like real fleshed out people. They have a past. They have, real like emotions. And my favorite scene's the same one as yours, Mondo. It's just the guys hanging out talking. Like it makes you just want to be there. You want to hang out with these dudes. I was thinking like
a lot.
Go ahead.
Let's say, except for like the main cast, pretty much all the background people, the background characters are all local actors or people they just found on the island. So like his deputy.
Yeah. Peter Benchley,
his
though,
like
I like that he pops up as an actor too.
Yeah, Peter Benchley is a newscaster, but like his deputy, pretty much all those other characters are literally people that live there.
That's awesome.
And that just adds so much, like his secretary, just like the bad hat guy, it's some bad hat Harry. That's just some random guy they found like hanging on the beach. There's and there's always something happening on the island. Like there's like a random parade that they're going to check out the Boy Scouts, and they're on like a little barge that was like the town barge or whatever it was. Like, they just took such a good advantage of what was there.
Well, and, it feels like a real small town. There's a lot of little stuff happening. The mayor's out there hanging with the people, trying to, drum up support for his stuff. And it just feels like a small town, like the one I grew up in, except for mine was in the woods instead of by the beach. It feels very natural,
Yeah.
And because you care about these characters, that's what makes that final act, have some real tension in it. Because I don't want to see any of these guys die. I don't want any of them to get hurt. I like them all, and I think he also does a great job of introducing them in a way where you're not sure if you're going to like them all, but as you get to know them more, you get to like all of these people more. So I feel like the performances do so much of it. The score, obviously, with John Williams, especially in those shark stalking scenes, the famous da 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 da, that kind of stuff. There's a reason why we still remember it. It's an iconic scene, iconic score. The shark, maybe doesn't look as realistic, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's that movie magic. After a certain point, movie magic takes over, and it's okay. If the shark, maybe doesn't hold up in 2025, it's 50 years. It's fine. I'm sure it looked amazing in 1975. But yeah,
I still think it looks great. I still think because it's a practical effect. I think you can
no,
always
it's
appreciate that.
No, I'm not bashing. I'm just saying like because it's the movie. It's the movie magic that pulls it together.
Yeah, no, definitely what you mean. And when the movie is so good surrounding that effect,
right?
Like it makes that effect in your brain. It's kind of the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing where I've said this before. If you talk to the old heads that saw that back in the 70s, they swear you saw the hook come out of her chest and shit like that because the movie around it was so good that your brain filled in the pieces.
Yeah. Well, and with the shark, it almost. It doesn't look realistic. It looks bigger than realistic. It kind of a larger than life kind of feel to it. And not just because it's big, it has that movie sense to it. And I'm totally fine with that. Like it doesn't take anything away from me not going, that's not a real shark. I don't care by the time we get to that.
And actually, and actually a lot of the shots towards the end of the movie where you see the shark kind of from below, that's real shark footage that they're splicing in to make it to like even things out even more. Like there's the scene where the cage gets caught and the shark's like kind of on top of it. That just happened randomly, and then they incorporate that into the script of the movie because it just looks so cool.
Oh, that's such a good scene too.
Again, they're doing so much legwork. So when the big moment where the practical shark comes out, because it's practical, it's real, and you've seen all these other pictures of real sharks, so your brain just kind of goes with it.
Yeah.
This is. Oh, good.
And I haven't said too much about the kills in the earlier part of the movie, but they're really terrifying. Every single one of them. It may just be a shark thing, but I think something about these in particular, because you don't see what's happening through most of it. You just see someone get yanked underwater and then blood start coming up. And the unknown part of that, I think, makes it even scarier. It's a shark, but you can't see it. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, because you're in their territory. You have your element. The opening kill is still one of the scariest kills in any film for me. Especially there's the scene where like the shark lets go for like a minute and she grabs onto the buoy and she like has like a moment of like maybe I'm gonna make it, and you can hear like praying almost, and then just grabs her and yanks her away, and then just drags her underwater, and then a second later it's all still. It's just frightening as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, of course, killing a kid is always disturbing. So, like, it's very quick. Again, they originally wanted to make it bigger, gorier, and everything, but thankfully they cut that back.
Yeah,
But there's
they
still
don't
a
really
shot
need
where you
to,
see the
though.
kid like going up, and you see the geyser of blood just shooting up, and that's all you need.
I love too when you see when you first see the first body and there's that police officer looking distraught. And I love that they did that because they haven't mentioned how it's a small town, right? They haven't they see a murder every 25 years. And how distraught the police officer was, and you see the body with the crabs crawling all over it, and that was almost something straight out of like an Italian horror film. But I love how that's framed in that shot because it's very jarring. You kind of don't expect to see that in a film like this. And also throwing it back to the natural dialogue, the interaction between Brody and his wife is fantastic. I love when she comes with a drink and she's like, "Want to get drunk and fool around?" Like, fuck yeah, sounds great. And there's a piece too where he hollers at the kid about being on the water, and she tells him like, "Hey, he just got that. You can't yell at him." But then she's like, "You heard what your dad said. Get off the water." I'm like, "Oh, look, she's supporting him as a parent, even though she doesn't necessarily agree with what he's saying."
Right. So yeah, they got two writers to come in and punch it up. They got John Milius, who did like Apocalypse Now and a bunch of other like major movies like that, to kind of make things a little more dramatic. But they also brought in a comedy writer. So you can tell a lot of the scenes are like it's very kind of Nolan-esque in a way where like a lot of scenes are like build up to a joke and they kind of end like that.
I can see that.
So they brought in Carl Gottlieb. So like, yeah, there's that bit. There's like, well, it doesn't make any sense for a guy who hates the water to live on an island. Well, it's like an island if you look at it from the land, Yeah. There's a lot of like little bits like that I just really make the movie go. This is just such a universal movie that like it just stands the test of time like few films do. And I think a lot of it is because it's so much about this like everyman, Martin Brody, the chief, and he's kind of caught in the middle of all these juxtapositions pulling him apart. And like I as I was watching, I just was doing like a list. So like, we have like being on land, being on water, the human versus the beast. There's a lot of talk about islanders, people who are born on the island, and outsiders, the mainlanders. We have the government versus the citizen. And then we have, especially on the boat, we have like the kind of working class Quint versus like, Hooper, who's more coded as like upper class. He's at one point he talks about how rich he is.
He's kind of Batman-esque though, and he's talking about how he's using his money though to fund these research projects to try to learn more about sharks, and he's kind of that nice little mix between the conservationist, right? He wants to teach you about sharks, but he also understands if there's one that's got to go, it's this one.
Right. He's just fine killing it, but then Quint is still like, "Oh, you've got money counting hands; those aren't working hands."
Well, I think that's what makes that galley scene so much better too. Is you see Quint and Hooper finally starting to bridge that gap. Yeah. And they're finally becoming friends. Like they realize, oh, we have more in common than we realize, which, hey, everyone out there in the world, they found a reason to unite each other instead of a reason to pull each other apart. Just saying.
Exactly. Really nice. And Martin's just kind of in the middle of all this swirl. He's just trying to survive his ass. He's just like, I don't care about the politics. I don't care about you guys arguing. I just want to kill this damn shark and go home. And I think that's what we as an audience relate to, is that we're all in this like chaotic world where there's stuff that just doesn't mix, so we're trying to make sense of things, and in the end of the day, we just want to make it home safe and happy to some degree. And Martin has to overcome this like ultra natural thing just to make it home, and he's just determined to do that. And again, it's interesting because in the book, I'm going to kind of go back to that for two things. In the book, Hooper actually has an affair with Mrs. Brody.
Now, I'm glad they didn't put that in the movie, to be honest.
Well, in the book, Cooper's very different. He's just kind of this arrogant young guy who I think he's like an island. If I remember correctly, he's also an islander, and Brody's wife, I think, is an islander or something like that. And they have like a past or something like that. Or like she's older and she's like she was an older beauty. She used to be a beauty queen, so she's having like some doubts about her relationship. So there's this kind of subplot that, again, I'm glad they took it out. But a lot of the book, I think, is about Chief Brody kind of finding his place as a man in his life and everything. And at the very end of the book, if I remember correctly, they don't blow up the shark. They just Quint gets eaten. Hooper's hiding somewhere. And the shark has just been gashed up, and is just having a real is been like damaged, injured a bunch, but it's going for Martin, and he just kind of accepts his fate. And at that moment is when the shark just kind of dies and sinks.
Oh wow!
But
Spoilers.
thematically, it's about Martin like accepting his place in this like order thing. It's big metaphor, but for film, that doesn't quite work as well.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, in a movie where you only have an hour and a half with people, you want to like these characters, and obviously, in a book, you can make them more unlikable and still do more with that.
See, this is why we need you here last week for Clown in the Cornfield, because I have so many questions about the book versus the movie.
Sorry for my internet.
We can get to that in a little bit if you want.
Well, Jody, we also don't want you to die while driving through rain on a mountain.
Things went nuts.
Right. Coming down the mountain.
It's supposed to be just a easy, like, hey, I'll just talk to you guys, and then natural things cause lots of problems.
Yeah, your safety is way more important in this podcast. We'll figure it out without you, rather than you can be here another week. It'll be okay.
Yeah. So again, this is just a classic movie. I could watch it over and over again any time of year. It's actually, what's really funny is I bought this on 4K. I had this big plan to watch it. My son was visiting for the 4th of July, and then I got COVID, so that canceled like all the plans, and we had to push back recording, and he couldn't come and join us. So like, but even watching it like on the tablet, I was like, this movie still rocks.
Yeah. And you want to know what?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting juxtapositions.
Yeah, COVID's still a thing, and imagine how much better everyone would have been if the mayor just listened to experts. Things would have gone better for everybody. Just.
But like, my daughter's going to camp this week, so I didn't want her to get sick or not go, or even worse, get sick there and get everyone else sick. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be in the bedroom, and that's what I get for going on the cruise. But there we go.
I say as much as I fly for work, it's rare that I come home feeling 100%.
Right.
I'm actually blown away that like when I travel, like going to Metal Fest and going to Chattanooga Film Festival, I came home feeling great from both of those. But
we got lucky with Chattanooga Film Fest this year because COVID hit there too, and a lot of people came home with it. And somehow none of us did. I don't know how we managed that.
I'll take it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this is a movie where there's a lot of, you can tell there's a lot of really talented people in the editing, obviously in the music and everything, and the acting. So, I mean, I give a ton of credit for Spielberg, but I feel like it's a lot of people. But I feel like it was Spielberg who had the drive to push the film through all of its troubles that made the product what it is. But I also want to give credit to all the parts that came together as well. So, as we go into our ratings, I like to reserve 5 for movies I think are really, really special because that's the highest rating. This to me is a 6. This is like put it up there, on the Mount Rushmore of film. Jody, what do you give this film? We're going right there.
I don't know. I really had to no, it's a 5. It's a 5.
Yeah. It's like a 5 plus.
Sure.
Yeah, it's 5 without question. Like it's iconic classic movie. There's a lot of movies, I'll be honest, that people say are classics that don't quite stand the test of time, I guess. This is not one of those movies. Like this is one of the best movies you're ever gonna fucking see, and there's no question about that in my mind.
Yeah. And it's mind-boggling that like this isn't Steven Spielberg's very, very first movie. It's his first like broadly released movie, not outside of TV. But he had a couple other movies that were like TV movies and whatnot. But like this is the guy who went on to make like Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park and Saving Private Ryan and on and on and on. It's just mind-boggling that he has that much talent to go on and have that career. Is just this. I don't know. This might be his best movie, but I would take in the other ones as well.
I think being the age that we are, Spielberg had a hold on our childhoods more than just about any other person. Between what he made and what he executive produced, because he executive produced a ton of other stuff that was super important. So it's just it's a warm feeling coming back to Jaws every time.
Yeah. All right, let's take a moment and do a shout out.
Hi, I'm Keith David, and tune in to Dads from the Crypt.
Keith David, who just got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I was going to be being Jody the Punch on the news a little bit, but I kind of had to because the guy deserves it so much. It's so great that he's being recognized with that honor. And like people are like, oh, you have to pay for that. Well, yeah, I mean, they have to stuff costs money, and someone's going to come up with that money. So I'm sure.
But you can't.
Ways.
It's not just anybody can pay for. I couldn't pay for it even if I had the
Right,
money.
yeah, you have to be invited. You have to be invited for the honor to pay for it. Which okay, fine,
Sure,
but
that's fine.
it's still a huge honor. Okay. Oh, and I think I saw that. What's her name? Demi Moore is getting a star.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
And she shows up dressed as Alyssa Sue.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. Or if they have the girl who plays her younger version there to present, that'd be even better. All right, Mondo, give us your song of the day.
So if anyone's been paying attention, yesterday was Back to the Beginning. It was a 10-hour live stream event for the final ever concert from Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. And I'm very happy that the jackass Dave, whatever his last name is, from Disturbed, got booed off the stage. That makes me happy because that guy sucks. But a very big fan of all the bands that Killer. A lot of great Black Sabbath covers, some very impressive ones. And but I'd be remiss to not pick a song from Black Sabbath, being that they are my favorite band of all time. And to the day I die, it's when you ask someone their top 5 favorite movies or top 5 favorite bands. I don't know about you guys, but mine always change, just kind of a lot of times based on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
But in my top 5 bands of all time will always be Black Sabbath, will always be Slayer. And number 1 will always be Black Sabbath, because the reason I picked up a guitar, the reason I really fell in love and got into music was because of Black Sabbath. So with that being said, I am going to have to pick a Black Sabbath song. And the song I'm going to pick is one that Slayer covered because it kind of fits in with the world we're living in right now. And Black Sabbath was very socially conscious. They're always considered kind of the evil metal band, but no, they're very socially conscious and very about peace and love and harmony. And one of my favorite songs of theirs, Slayer ended up covering, is called Wicked World. So it's called the first record, Black Sabbath, their obviously self-titled for debut record. Definitely check it out. One of my favorite songs of all time from my favorite band of all time. And fucking thank you for how many years? Almost 55 years, however long, whatever.
Yeah, around 55.
No, more than that, because I take it back, as Paranoid came out in 70. I think the self-titled came out in 60.
I thought it was 60 or 69.
So almost 60 years, I'd say, of coming out with some killer metal. So
Paranoid is just easily one of my all-time favorite albums. It's just I can just put it on any time and just do dishes, or it's just front to back is just a perfect record.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've never heard a record. It's kind of funny because the song Paranoid itself was a studio throwaway. Yeah. They had written the whole record and they wanted one more, so they basically wrote this record in that song in half a day, and never thought it would become the deal it was. And to put it in perspective, like, they played 4 songs last night. And granted, Ozzy has Parkinson's. They brought Bill Ward back, like, fucking A. That's awesome to see. And but aside from all that, like, they played War Pigs, they played Paranoid and Iron Man, all from the record Black Sabbath. So that should show you what you need to know about how much they thought about that, how much that album is considered a god tier record.
Yeah, totally. All right, thank you, Mondo. Jody, give us some horror news.
All right, so first, before I get into releases like I usually do, there's Jaws stuff to mention. It's on Paramount Plus right now, right? It's like
Peacock.
Yeah.
Peacock, that's right.
Peacock, and they have a little cool intro with Steven Spielberg if you watch it.
Well, and I wanted to mention to anyone who doesn't have Peacock that all 4 of the Jaws movies are coming to Netflix on July 15th. So if you want to watch them along with us, they'll all be on Netflix very soon. And yeah, it's definitely worth watching them again. They also are putting out a new 4K for the 50th anniversary with a lot of extra special features. NECA has got figures of Quint and Hooper I think there's something with the likeness. They can't get Brody right now. But great new like Ultimate figures. They're doing a recreation of a 1970s shark game where it's like you put things in the shark's mouth and it bites your hand. They're remaking that but in a style, and it looks amazing. Like I just want it for the figure of the shark. But yeah, so lots of cool Jaws stuff right now. Yeah, Mondo has the Lego Jaws. There's an awesome Toonie Terror set where Jaws is like way out of the water. Yeah, super cool. Lots of good stuff. There's also a new documentary on Peacock, Jaws at 50. So if you want to get into the behind the scenes stuff, it's available right now too.
Yeah, I watched that. It was real good.
Yeah, and it's got everybody in it. Like everybody's come back for it. You know, Spielberg's on there, and a lot of famous people talking about what Jaws has meant to them, and you know what's great about it. So definitely worth checking out.
There was I looked this up. There was a short film too called A Quintmas Carol. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
No.
It is Uncle Quint giving his interpretation of "'Twas a Night Before Christmas." But I think that Peter Benchley is one of the writers for it.
Oh, really?
I have not seen this. It just popped up as like something you might like. So I'm gonna kind of try to hunt this down and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk releases. Between our scheduling stuff, it's been a little bit since I've gone over some stuff. So I'm just going to kind of go over some stuff that's come out since the last time I talked about this. 28 days or 28 years later is in theaters right now. We've got Ash on Shudder. And one that I've been looking forward to is called The Garden of Eden. The way that it's being talked about is think American Horror Story if it had kinky and debaucherous fetish-filled three-way with martyrs and hostel in a church pew.
Wait.
So this sounds insane.
Where is it? Say no more. Where is this coming out at?
This movie is coming to VOD. It's on VOD right now.
So, I'll assume it's. Is there? Hold on a second. Is this based off of Ernest Hemingway's Garden of Eden?
I don't think so. I think this is a horror, like straight up horror movie.
It's called The Garden of Eden.
Okay. Garden of Eden. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, this looks interesting. Okay.
The guy who made Blood Feast, I guess the remake of Blood Feast.
That was not bad.
Okay. It's not terrible. No.
That's actually pretty good.
There's also a movie came out, Alma and the Wolf. It's got some body horror stuff. I don't know if it actually has a wolf. I think there is some supernatural stuff. Ethan Embry's in it though, and so I like anything I see him in.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So there's so many things. There's a movie called Found Footage: The Making of the Patterson Project that looks pretty interesting. It's about the Patterson Project. It was the old film of Bigfoot walking through the woods, kind of the famous one. This,
if you want to look it up, as a Patterson Gimli film.
Yeah. But this is a supposed behind the scenes of making it, but it turns into a horror movie at some point. I don't know the details, but looks interesting.
Do you know that no one's been able to disprove that film?
I know. That's
Which
one
is
of those crazy things.
Jason, don't make that face. It's so crazy when you dig into that film and like how they couldn't. They're like special effects gurus who are like that technology did not exist back then to make that kind of suit, and how they put nipples on it. And like, why the fuck did they put nipples on it? And I don't know, man. Like, I like cryptids, and the fact that they can't disprove that. I don't know. I'm a skeptic in that until I get proof. I'm not going to believe it, but I'm also like, that's
It's that I want to believe. I mean, that's yeah,
man. I do.
Convince me, please. Yes. So other releases, Megan 2.0 is in theaters. I've heard it's stupid but fun. Speaking of Spielberg, go ahead.
I think my expectations are lowered enough for when I do see it probably on streaming. I'll have a good time with it.
Yeah,
dude, it looks like garbage. I'm not gonna fucking watch it. I'm sorry. Like,
my friends who I trust their opinions who have seen it are all saying yes, it's very stupid, but also pretty fun.
Okay.
Sorry.
I like the first one, but this one I'm like they're going straight like Terminator with it, and I don't know, man. Like the trailer. What's funny is I was more interested in it before I watched the trailer.
Sure.
Trailer was bad.
Yeah. It's not great. But we've been talking about Spielberg. His daughter, Destry Allen Spielberg, has her first movie available right now on Tubi. It's called Please Don't Feed the Children. It's a post-apocalyptic movie. That's about all I know about it, but I'm definitely going to check it out because it's by a Spielberg and it's free on Tubi. So, hey.
That's interesting. I've seen a couple things about that movie, but I didn't realize they didn't
Yeah.
promote the director all. So good on them for that.
We've also got a new movie called The Sound, which is a supernatural climbing movie that's been compared to Fall, which absolutely made me squirm the entire time I was watching it. So
I didn't watch it because I figured my butthole be clenched the entire movie, and I just didn't want to deal with it.
I really liked Fall. Fall is really good. I don't like heights at all, and so it got to me in a lot of great moments. So yeah. Bring Her Back is now available on VOD. Sinners is
Yeah, that's
on
that's one I
HBO
like.
Max.
I feel like I need to watch Bring Her Back to like at least be for the conversation and then for the end of the year stuff. But like everything I've seen says it's so heavy. I'm like, okay, I have to be in the mood for it.
It's very heavy. It is very heavy. It is a fantastic movie. You will not feel good walking away from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I would say for end of the year, I mean, you got 5 months. You should definitely watch it.
Find a night that you feel fortified, ready for it. We also had the third and final season of Squid Game release recently, and I've watched it. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Season,
I've heard a lot of negatives about it, and I kind of never understand if it's like me or if it's some people are going to be negative on things no matter what.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, I've only watched the first season, and I haven't had a chance to dive in the others.
2 and 3 are all one game. It was like half of the game in the first or season 2 and the other half in season 3. It did some stuff that maybe doesn't make a ton of sense, but also enough of it did, and enough of the characters were well put together that I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
We also have, I've mentioned this once before, but it is now available, the first episode on Crunchyroll, Night of the Living Cat, directed by Takeshi Miike. It's about apocalypse where people turn into cats if a cat touches you. So if a cat rubs up on your leg, you turn into a cat. I don't know what to do with that. It sounds ridiculous, and Takeshi Miike is involved. So yeah.
I mean, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, ridiculous in a good way. I'm fully watching it. I did watch just a couple minutes to kind of get a feel for it, and it's playing like a straight horror, but it's also people turning into cats. So yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Like, are they like people with like cat prosthetics, or are they actually just like real cats?
It's anime.
Oh, it's anime. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a series. I'm not sure how many episodes it's going to be. All right, a few more. There is a movie called Monster Island coming to Shudder in July. That's a World War II monster movie with a Gillman type creature in it. It's an Indonesian, Australian production, I think. So yeah, another monster movie. I'm into it. Okay, that's all the releases. Let's talk about some upcoming projects. Minnie's Midnight Massacre is the Minnie Mouse public domain movie. I'm sure it's terrible, but it exists.
Dude, I tried watching Screamboat and I couldn't do it, man. It wasn't like I'm a big fan of David Howard Thornton, obviously, and it had some fun moments, but overall, I'm just like, why am I spending time doing this?
I haven't braved it yet. I did watch Popeye the Slayer Man. It wasn't as terrible as I was afraid it would be. It was dumb, but it was watchable dumb.
I think a slasher film is kind of the right environment for that movie.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So some 4K releases and Blu-rays coming out. Vinegar Syndrome is going to bring Mac and Me to 4K. So if you've been itching for that in its pristine glory, you can get that. They're also doing Carrie 2, The Rage, the late Argento movie, The Card Player. Not late Argento, like he's alive. later
was gonna
movie.
say,
in
I
his
missed something
career.
there.
Yeah, later movie in his career, The Card Player, which I think was actually a pretty decent one, if I remember right.
That was not a bad one. Yeah, I remember watching that one.
So those are coming from Vinegar Syndrome. Arrow Video is putting out a 4K of Creep Show 2, which you can listen to other episodes of this podcast to find out more about Creep Show 2, including an interview with the director. And was there someone else on that interview too, or was it just the director on that one?
It was just Michael Gornick, the director.
Okay, that's right. And on Blu-ray, we are getting the first time ever released in HD, the movie Repossessed with Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen, a movie that meant
I
a lot to
love that
me
movie.
as a teenager.
Yeah.
I freaking love that movie because I saw it
yeah.
before the Exorcist.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any of those jokes. It was just like Danny, Leslie Nielsen, spooky
Exactly.
stuff.
Dude, not horror, but I am super
I love
into
Dead
this
Dating,
Liam.
so I'm always down.
It's not horror, but I'm super into this Liam Neeson remake of Naked Gun.
Yeah.
The trailers look awesome.
Yes.
Have you seen the trailer? When they're all saying like they're all giving praise to their dads, and they fucking show OJ Simpson's picture, and he's like, it looks ridiculous, like it should be. I'm pretty stoked for that.
Well, and you know, Liam Neeson's more of a serious actor, but so was Leslie Nielsen up until Naked Gun. Like he was a serious, or until Airplane. But still, I like a serious actor doing ridiculous stuff too.
Well, have you seen Liam Neeson when he does the cameo in, I can't remember if it's Ted or Ted 2?
No, I
when
haven't.
When he's trying to buy a box of tricks, and he goes, "It says they're just for kids, but I'm obviously not a kid. Am I still allowed to purchase these?" It's just he plays this ridiculously deadpan humor character while he's talking to a fucking teddy bear who's trying to sell him cereal. And Joe, you look it up, you will not be disappointed.
I need to watch those movies. I probably would like them. I know they're not great, but I also like a lot of stuff that's kind of dumb.
Dude, they are like literally, and also the series on Peacock is literally take your edible, get high, and have a good time. Excellent. And if you're trying to take them too seriously, are they good movies? No. Are they good? Like get high and watch. I hate fucking Marky Mark. Fuck that guy. He hates being called Marky Mark. You know that, right? And I love that because if I ever see him, I'm calling his ass Marky Mark. He has a
well, I'm sure he's watching and he's upset right now. So
no, he's too busy fucking hating LGBTQ people to listen to our show. But that's a problem I have with them. But a little teddy bear walking around, and they do a great homage in the second one to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that actually fucking killed me the first time I saw it. So they're fun movies.
I still like Seth MacFarlane stuff, or at least some of it. So yeah,
dude, Family Guy has gone downhill.
I like him in doses.
Well, every now and again, I started watching Modern Family Guy again just because it's something to throw on as background noise.
Yeah.
And every now and again, they'll land a joke that just killed. But for a lot of times, they're just trying really hard to kind of,
The best Seth MacFarlane property, American Dad, is still going, and it is so much better than it used to be. Like it's very funny. Yeah,
I haven't watched that in years. I'll check that out. It's
gotten very silly and absurd, and there's a lot more Roger the Alien stuff. Like it's great.
I say more absurd than a talking alien that disguises him. So one of my favorite gags they did, and they stole it from King of the Hill, is when he calls his insurance agent and he picks up the other phone.
Yeah,
because Dale Gribble does the same thing in King of the Hill. Also, not horror news, but King of the Hill, we're 1 month away from the reboot. August 4th, my anniversary, will be the reboot of King of the Hill.
For you.
No, I'll be out of town working, which pisses me off. That's a whole other story.
Mondo, you should do some reviews for Patreon.
For King of the Hill, I totally will for the new episodes. Yeah, without question. I'm down for that.
All right. Couple other quick things. A project that's been announced that sounds interesting to me. Supernatural home invasion thriller called The Devil You Know, that is made from the guy who made the Don't Fuck in the Woods movie.
No shit.
But this movie is a satanic panic movie mixed with Autopsy of Jane Doe, from what their description is.
No way. Okay.
That's all my stuff right there. I love Autopsy of Jane Doe. Love satanic panic stuff. And one that I am cautiously optimistic about, a new series called Very Young Frankenstein is being produced by Mel Brooks from the team who made What We Do in the Shadows, the series.
What?
Yes, and it's a series. So it's a Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks, What We Do in the Shadows combo.
I don't
I'm
even.
very cautious, but also I really hope it comes out because I love Young Frankenstein with all of my soul, and so I would love for this to actually be good.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic.
Last couple things. Art the Clown is finally getting a NECA figure, and it is available for pre-order right now. Probably coming out in October. I already have mine pre-ordered. I think Mondo already has his pre-ordered.
I do, and I also have the Trick or Treat Studios one they did years ago.
Yeah.
That big ass one.
Little Nightmares 3 is launching on all the platforms on October 10th. I've really enjoyed those games, and October 10th is my birthday, so that's my birthday present this year. Is a little game to play. We are getting a official novelization of The Descent coming out sometime soon. I'm definitely going to check that out. I like movie
Love The
novelizations.
Descent.
And finally, if you are in the Phoenixville, Pennsylvania area, Friday, July 11th is the beginning of this year's Blobfest. So definitely, we've talked about that on the show plenty of times. Mondo has been in person. Our friend Joe Ferry is very involved. Sounds like an awesome time. So if you're anywhere up in that area, definitely check that out.
Yeah. God, I wish it wasn't so close to Chattanooga Film Festival, Maryland Death Fest, because I just can't justify a third East Coast trip. If I live on the East Coast, it'd probably be easier. But I had the best time there. The gentleman whose name escapes me off the top of my head, he is the Bob. Yes, Bob. He is the curator of the Colonial Theater out there. Does an incredible job at this every year. Phoenixville is such a fun fucking city. So anyone has heard of this and on the fence about going, do it. You're gonna have a great time.
And that's all I got.
Maybe next year we try to pull Blobfest as well. Come on, you can hop on a plane, Jody. We can go hang out in Joe's neck of the woods.
We'll figure it out.
No, I'd be more. I'm almost more down for Blobfest than going to a whole film festival. So
of course you are. That's a perfectly Jason thing.
Yes.
There are
Let's not go to the thing other people on the podcast love. Let's go to
Mm-hmm.
There are snakes in Tennessee. I will admit to that.
Yeah.
There's snakes in Philly too, I imagine, right?
Probably.
Mm. All right. We did put out a call for, okay. So before we wrap up, a couple quick things. We did put out a question saying that obviously people consider Jaws to be a flawless movie, and asking other people what they thought flawless movie. What other movies do they think are flawless? So we got a couple of responses that we want to talk about. Someone on Threads said that Big Trouble Little China belongs in the Smithsonian. I love that movie. I love that movie. I respect their opinion. I don't know if it reaches, especially among John Carpenter's works.
Hey, shout out the user. If you're gonna say someone on Threads, shout out the username. You gotta shout the username out.
The Cattonauts.
Okay,
so
I like it.
All right. Yeah, that's a worthy handle.
Thank you for your response.
Thank you. MF Abom 81 said Boogie Nights, Fargo, and Female Trouble.
You know what's crazy? I've never seen any of those movies. Yeah. I don't know what Female Trouble is. Yeah, no, I've never seen Fargo. I've never seen Boogie Nights.
You never seen Boogie Nights?
No,
I haven't either.
Oh, you'd like Boogie Nights.
I'm sure I would.
Really, really good. Fargo.
Okay, hold on a second. So
Female Trouble is a John Waters movie that I never heard of.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I love the poster, so I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this happen.
Female Trouble is one of those movies I'm sure Joe Ferry has watched a million times.
Oh, I'm sure.
He owns a 4K, the Blu-ray, and a VHS tape of it.
But I've always sorry that I'm not. I don't bash anyone's choices. I've always thought Fargo was a little on the overrated side for when it came out, but
I mean,
it's a very good movie.
Everyone's gonna have difference of opinions, right? Because
especially compared to Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Big Lebowski, in my opinion, is a flawless movie. That's probably my favorite non-horror movie of all time. I mean, it's a hard question, right? Because there are movies I love that I would give 5 stars to, that I can still nitpick some things if I really wanted to.
Mhm.
But
Okay, over on Blue Sky, our friend Alyssa said The Fall, which is a
I know
very
she loves
interesting
that
movie.
she
know
loves that movie. I've never seen it. I really
haven't
need to because I trust her
It's real
opinion on
trip.
movies.
Yeah.
And the description, sounds great. So I need to watch it.
Our friend Joe Ferry said The Handmaiden from 2016.
We
Very good movie.
I
It's
covered
a very,
that
very
on
Joe movie.
Joe's
It's
show.
got some kinky octopus scenes. So
Yeah. Joe, I was the guest on Films at First Sight for that movie a couple years ago, and I absolutely love that movie. It's really good.
Once again, what a weird poster. The poster is perfectly Korean.
Uh-huh.
The movie poster is perfectly Korean. I'm into the poster.
Yeah, you need to check that one out. You'd like that one.
There's definitely two dudes and a girl, two girls. One of the girls though is definitely being pushed down onto her knees by a hand. So I figure it's gonna have some weird shit happen in that movie. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is, I would say one not to watch with your kids, but yeah. I think even at the age your kid is at, you still don't want to watch this one with your kid.
I did that. No. I did that once with fucking Midsummer, and after that, I'm like, I can watch all the gratuitous gore and destruction ever. Don't want to see like oddly or kinky sex things with my child. It's just, it's never comfortable.
Speaking of another movie with aquatic sea creature attacks.
Yeah, check that one out. You'll like it.
Yeah. All right, and then I got a couple real quick.
I haven't said my flawless movie yet.
Oh yes, of course.
I have a left field pick, but I stand by it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I think is perfect.
Oh, dude, I could get down with that, man. I could get down with that. Like, it's tough, right? Because I kind of wanted to do a podcast called The Unskippable about albums that have no skippable tracks, and there are albums I love dearly that I would give 5 out of 5 to, but I'm like, yeah, but track number 3, you could just skip that one and still get the whole thing.
Sure.
So I think that's a hard thing when you think of a flawless movie. There's a lot of movies I'd say are 5 stars, but I don't know how many are flawless. I couldn't nitpick something out of it. Yeah, but Roger Rabbit might be up there, man, because that's like just
it's a miracle of filmmaking. Like, the way that they incorporated it with the shadows and the interactions with the anime, it's perfect.
Like I've said many times, The Beyond is like my favorite horror movie of all time. But if I was gonna nitpick, I'd nitpick those fucking fake ass tarantulas. Like I love it. I love it to no end. It's just so endearing to me at this point. But I can't just let that slide.
Right? Sure.
Yeah, Joey, what's funny is my pick for Floss movie is very similar. I was going to go with Back to the Future.
Nice. Yeah, we were all very influenced by the Robert Zemeckis, Bob Gale, Steven Spielberg.
Produced.
Did I ever tell you when I went to the Speakeasy in Temecula, California? And what sucks is my wife will remember the name because she went with me, but I can't remember the name of it. And it was, and to be fair, I was only in Temecula for work, so I wasn't just visiting Temecula to visit Temecula. Although downtown Temecula is dude, downtown old downtown Temecula was awesome though, and we found a speakeasy, and it was Wild West themed, but all the pictures and everything was Wild West from Back to the Future 3.
Oh, cool!
And I thought it was so awesome. And then, have you guys all seen A Million Ways to Die in the West? Speaking of Seth MacFarlane,
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Have you seen that, Jason?
I haven't seen the whole thing.
Spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, Jason, plug those ear holes. But there's a scene where Seth MacFarlane opens. He's going to look in a shed. He opens a shed up, and there's Doc there standing with a DeLorean, and he throws a blanket over the DeLorean like you didn't see anything or something to that effect. And it's Christopher Lloyd, which I thought was just I love when he pops up in movies.
That's awesome. Armando, what's your flawless movie pick?
I said The Big Lebowski.
Oh, okay, perfect.
The Big Lebowski.
It's fun. We all pick kind of comedy.
I mean, if I had to go horror, though, I would say Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, in my opinion, 5 stars, flawless. There's nothing I can nitpick out of that movie. And I'm original Halloween, I think.
I'm torn between Psycho and The Exorcist, I think.
I would say 2. Like I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah.
I think that's a fucking flawless movie that just hits every note for me. It's a tough one because because again, different genres have different, right? Like I think comedies are probably the most lenient.
Yeah.
Like I think Dirty Work is a flawless comedy for me. And speaking of which, Arrow Video just came out with the 4K with the dirtier cut that just got released. Which I'll be honest, I prefer the PG-13 cut over the unrated cut because I think some of the jokes it lands because it has to kind of skirt that line land better. That's a flawless comedy. I'd say Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein. I'd say is a flawless comedy.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I think for me, like horror is the hardest genre. As much as I love it, to find a flawless movie, because I think I'm more critical of horror films. But dude, I would say fuck it, man. Tales from the Crypt. I'd say Demon Knight is pretty flawless in my opinion.
See, that's the thing. I want to say that movie, but like it's so. I know I'm so biased for it. It's hard to be objective. So I'm trying to. When I think of these, I'm like, what on the global level is flawless?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. Like Demon Knight, it has some of those early '90s like trappings when it comes to some of the gags it tries to pull off. But I think it works. It works incredibly well. And I think if you showed that movie to someone nowadays who's never seen Tales from the Crypt, I think it's super enjoyable. It's someone brought up to me how much Sinners kind of is reminiscent of Demon Knight. And I never thought of that. And then I was like, holy shit, it really is. And the way it blends like all these genres and kind of puts them together. So fuck it. We're a Tales from the Crypt podcast. I'm going to say Demon Knight is a goddamn flawless movie.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
And Bordello of Blood, also flawless. I'm just kidding.
Just ask the makers. They agree.
Yeah, if Al listened to this, he'd fucking be throwing a glass at the wall.
All right. On that note, that wraps up another episode. Tune in next week for our dive into Jaws 2. And then we'll see where things go from there. I can't wait to see Jody's.
I have questions. Are you the guy? Do you order in Spanish when you go to Mexican restaurants?
Oh God, no. No.
Never be that person that says gracias, thinking you're being like all cool to the Mexican waiter. They secretly hate you. Just say thank you.
That's funny because when I was in Mexico for the first time, we had the tour guide who's Mexican. He said that people love it when you say gracias.
Yes, in Mexico, I'd say yes. At a taco shop in San Diego, I'm gonna say they're probably just thinking you're dude. Okay, if you say gracias,
no, we don't have time. It's already
no, we do. If you say gracias and have to look at your friends for approval, you fucked up. If you say it organically, I think it's respected.
Sure. Okay. I went to the 7-Eleven in Mexico and said gracias for my Gatorade Zero, so I felt good.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. When I go to, I'll be in Germany next week. I say danke. Yeah, whatever. It's definitely appreciated in the country you're visiting, but the Mexican American person who's helping you out, whatever, they know you're just trying to be. If you look back at your friends for approval because you said a word in Spanish, you kind of suck. Don't do that.
Okay.
Let's all right. Alienate more of our listeners.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we appreciate everyone for listening. We'd really appreciate it if you're still listening now to give us a rating review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the Crypt Talk on TikTok. With that, I thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.